Hello and welcome to Garage Rock, the Good Things Festival review special. It's our first special. Welcome, Cameron. How are you?
Good, Stephen. How are you today?
Oh, fantastic. Thanks,
now,
mate.
they thought they got rid of us for this year, but we're back in style because we had to talk about Good Things Festival,
Well,
Steve. The great time that we had on Friday.
Absolutely. Well, they gave us tickets, so it's the least we can do is to... And thank you to Good Things for hooking us up with a couple of media passes to go and review the Good Things Festival, the inaugural Good Things Festival.
We really, A, appreciate it.
Definitely.
And B, enjoyed it.
Absolutely. That's right.
Shitload.
Now, we're going to talk all about the bands we saw. And this was the first of the three shows because it was Melbourne, then Sydney, then
Brisbane.
And the Melbourne show, we mentioned it on the last episode, the temperature, we said 36 degrees. It turned out being 38 degrees.
38. And out in that sun, Steve, it felt like about 50, didn't it?
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, we spoke about the mist tents.
Yes.
The mist tents were a lot.
Absolutely.
Like, if they weren't there, I would have really missed them. But
oh, Jesus.
I still had never seen them before.
You've never seen a mist tent? Yeah. They've been at plenty of festivals. I'm surprised you've never seen them.
Yeah, just missed them. But don't use the same joke twice. But they were a lifesaver, and for people who don't know what they are, they're basically a marquee without the canvas on it.
Yeah.
They're basically a big tent with just the poles. And
you're talking to this as if people out there who have no idea what they are. You were the only person that has no idea what a mist tent was.
Well, so they're like sprinkler systems set up that mist out water.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely sweltering, so you need to go and wow, what a relief.
Absolutely. And then the cloud cover came over about 3 o'clock.
Yep.
The clouds moved over and actually at one point it almost started raining a little bit.
It did.
During the Dropkick Murphys set.
It spat a little bit. I wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't expecting the clouds to come over, but when they did,
God, they did.
What a relief. So those first few hours were tough to get through, but that's festivals.
That's
festival season, and well worth the wait for what we saw throughout the day,
which we'll get onto now. But first of all, we're doing this about 48 hours after we went to the festival.
Yeah, we've had to recover because we've been just too excited after.
Exactly. How are you pulling up?
Yeah, I actually pulled up not too bad. We were very smart. You can tell we've got a little bit older.
Yeah.
We drank a shitload of water.
Oh, absolutely.
And how much did that help?
Oh, yeah. Who would have thought? And also 50 plus sunscreen just every couple of hours, just drenched in that.
We reapplied. I remember going, we'd probably maybe put sunscreen on once when we used to go early 20s. Exactly. And also
just
drinking water.
I
probably would have had one can of Solo for the whole day, and that was it.
This is what growing up is, Cam.
It is.
Now,
I guess this is growing up.
Now, I'm still sore in places. As I normally do, I promised I wouldn't get too excited, and then we separated at one point, and I said I want to get a decent position for the Offspring. I don't want to get too close to the front, but I want to get a decent position. Anyway, I ended up on the barrier, and my body's been paying for it ever since.
Honestly, I don't know how you do it this day and age.
I shouldn't do it.
You know my spot? I love to be just at the back of where the main mosh is. Yeah. I can stand back, watch everything, and not worry about someone's elbow up my bum or something like that.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had about 20 different people sit on my head as I would get passed across to the security. But we'll get onto the Offspring later. Let's wind back to the start of the day. We got there early and we caught Eka Vandal. Opened up there were two smaller stages next to each other, and then there were two main stages. And Eka Vandal opened up one of the smaller stages. Yep. And it was a good decent crowd early. To get there early, there was still quite a lot of people there, and everyone was singing along.
I was surprised because it was so hot.
Yeah.
But obviously, people don't care about that. They're there to go see the bands, and Eka Vandal come on first, full of energy.
Yes, that's it.
And a great way to start the festival as well, Steve. Get everyone pumped up straight away. I didn't realise that the drummer and bass player from Eka Vandal is the same from the Getaway Plan.
Yes, yeah.
Which, I'm a huge Getaway Plan fan.
Yeah, well, who isn't?
So it was good. It was good to see them. But what did you think of Eka Vandal yourself?
You said it best first. Energy. She just came out.
Great singer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And just jumping around. And it was good to get the vibes, because you really do have to start a festival off with some energy. You don't really have something sort of tame to sort of kick it off. Maybe an acoustic act or something, because people are like, I want a bit of energy up front. So Ekavandal
gets
definitely
people pumped, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, shit yeah, and she's kicking goals.
I like the because I hadn't listened to much of them before.
Yeah,
and obviously hadn't seen them live, but I like the sort of like a mixture of a few different genres in there and things like that, and the way they do it is just awesome. So I'm looking forward to see them again.
Yeah, definitely. And after that, we saw Wax.
Yes.
WAAX. Wax. They were on after that, and they're also playing at Unify Gathering next month as well.
We'll definitely check them out there, Steve.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And one of the things I found, again, a lot of energy, and one of the things I found interesting, they closed their set with a cover of In the Aisle by Violent Soho, which was really
I was
good as well.
surprised on that. I didn't expect that, and all of a sudden I'm like, this sounds like this is Violent Soho. Yeah. This is awesome.
It was interesting, and again, really got the crowd into it.
Sounded great too, didn't it?
Exactly. Actually, there was a bit of, I don't know, because earlier in the day, sometimes they got to tweak the sound as the day goes on. But I found actually the further away you got from the stage, it sounded a bit better. I don't know, a bit clearer.
Yeah.
So maybe they were tweaking it a bit. So, but it was still an awesome performance as well.
Well,
but yeah,
the sound for the whole day was a new thing for me, Steve.
Oh, of course,
a whole new thing. I've never been that old bloke at a music festival wearing earplugs before.
I don't know if it's old. I think it's sensible.
It is. And you know what? Obviously, I've done it because if you have been listening to us, or if you don't know, I burst my eardrum a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And doctor's orders, loud noises, wear earplugs. And so I did it, and actually makes the sound a bit better.
It does cut out a bit of the low end.
It does, yeah. It cuts out at that sort of like airy kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it cuts out a lot of crap.
Yep.
And I actually quite enjoyed it. Or I did feel like a bit of a dick.
Yeah, no.
With big yellow things hanging out my ear, because I always used to look at people like that and go, what? You're at a music festival? But it was medicinal, man.
Yeah.
But, so the sound was different for me, but I actually quite enjoyed it. So I might do it again, see what happens.
Yeah. Now, after that, we caught North Lane.
Yep.
And now this was we've moved over to the main stage of this, because the two of us, we spent most of the time together.
Yep.
Holding hands, skipping, throwing flowers.
Skipping through mist tents.
Exactly. But when we moved on, we saw North Lane, and that kicked the energy up to the next level.
Definitely.
And for a band that was playing relatively early in the set, they had fire going, quite a lot of
it's
fire.
40 degrees,
yes.
And they got fire going, and people were loving it, though. It looked really cool as well.
It looked amazing, yeah.
I like their style, too, and their stage presence. The drummer and the bassist or guitarist was wearing black face masks.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, it just adds something. I like seeing things like that where it's just a bit different and you go, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, we saw them earlier in the year at Download Festival. Actually, we interviewed them.
Yeah.
And, it was good. It was like the same location as well, Flemington Racecourse, and they put on an awesome show for the crowd. And, as we said, like the pyrotechnics and just the energy and their onstage presence, they're amazing live. Their music is awesome as well.
And speaking of energy, Steve.
Yes.
I'm talking baby metal.
Baby metal.
Wow. I'm talking Japanese metal. So, we were introduced to these guys because we'd obviously never seen them before.
First time in Australia.
Never been in Australia.
Yep.
And they come out on stage. So, they've got Japanese blokes in masks and face paint
and stuff,
and things like that as the musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got three Japanese women come out in their sort of samurai kind of style costumes, and absolutely killed it.
Oh, yeah.
The dancing, the singing, like it's something completely different. Think of heavy metal, mixed with
Hello Kitty,
Pokemon kind of, that Japanese style of the way they do cartoons and singing and things like that.
Exactly. And the thing is, and like the choreographed dancing between the three women who were doing it, and they were awesome, and it was definitely something to behold, because I'd never seen anything like that. And if you're listening and you've never heard of baby metal, or you've never seen them, just go onto YouTube, type in baby metal live, and just watch for
because the main girl, her facial expressions was so enthralling because her singing was just, she was so into it, and then, but also kind of smiling, but angry, but happy, but intense. It was something real strange, and it's obviously a different sort of style than what we're used to, and a different sort of culture than what we're used to.
Yep.
So it was absolutely enthralling. I loved it.
Yeah, there was a guy in the crowd. You know those sort of punk jackets with like with patches with different bands
sewn
on them.
Yeah.
There was a guy, and he was in like a bodysuit, and he had a mask as well covering his face, but it was a Pikachu, a Pokemon.
Yeah, he had a Pikachu hood.
Yeah, with baby metal all over him. And then I saw on Good Things Instagram the next day he was also in Sydney as well.
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, how often are they going to come down to Australia? Make the most of it, go up to Sydney, and he might have gone to Brisbane on the third day as well.
He or she, couldn't really tell if it was a boy or a girl, but
the mask.
That's half the fun of a festival, isn't it? Is seeing the punters, like it's just awesome. They get right into it.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went to Big Day Out and people were dressed up like Slipknot and in the orange jumpsuits and the masks and stuff. It's like any other day you'd be called a freak, but that's just awesome today.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think with Baby Metal, that's what it took the festival to the next level. It was that was the kind of the jolt, and from that point on, it was like we were in full festival mode after that.
It was sort of like a step. It kept stepping up, and then bang, we're all right. This is happening.
Exactly.
We're doing this.
And following Baby Metal, one of your favourites, your good mates.
Yeah, my good mates, the Used.
Yeah, the Used.
Yes, they were awesome, Steve. That Burt McCracken never tires, does he?
No.
He just gives it all the whole time.
Even in 40-degree heat.
In 40-degree heat. He's doing his poetry in between songs. And they what did they do, Steve? They did... they said, now this song's the greatest song ever written.
This is the last song that they were playing. Yeah. This is the greatest song of all time.
And they went into the start of Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Now, here's the thing. I've been to many festivals over the years, and I've seen heaps of different bands. I think I went to Falls Festival one year, and on the 3 different days, 3 different bands played a bit of Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Gets people going, doesn't it, Steve?
And that's the thing, and it's... I don't know if you're a member of the band doing that, because as soon as they played it, it went off more than any of their songs did throughout the set.
Yeah.
It's so, is it kind of deflating to, I mean, it shouldn't be because it is such an iconic song and such an awesome song, but the mosh that was sort of going throughout their set, as soon as they played Teen Spirit, it doubled.
Yeah.
And the crowd just went nuts. And then they played the intro to it, and then they went to one of their own songs. And it kind of like just died off a bit. And would that be deflating?
I don't know. I think they just did it to maybe get people going. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like a lot of their songs, like they played Bird and the Worm second, I think. Yeah. And like instantly everyone was going off. So
exactly.
Like, it's not as if they were struggling or anything.
No. You come out strong.
Yeah, they were absolutely smashing it.
And they played I Caught Fire, which everyone went off to as well. So their set was, it was awesome. And like I said, we'd stepped up to a next level by this stage. Yeah. And they really got the crowd going. And
I was pumped to see them again, and I was not disappointed.
And speaking of awesome, after the years, Bullet for My Valentine.
Yeah, and they stepped it up a notch again, didn't they?
Exactly. By that stage, the crowd was huge. I remember we kind of walked around the back of the crowd, and we're like, this is much further back than we were an hour ago.
It was starting to get filled up.
Yep.
A lot more latecomers were coming in.
Yep. And that was like the crowd. It was also more of a metal crowd when Bullet for My Valentine walked out. There was no mucking around in that mosh pit. It was they were going off. It was really intense.
Yeah, that mosh pit was like a washing machine, and everyone was singing along. Everyone was going along with it. It was just
fists in the air. There was a shitload of fists in the air for that.
Yeah, a lot of fisting happening in that mosh pit, I'll tell you right now. But then, Steve, we skipped over to the other stage and saw Tonight Alive.
Yeah, via the misting tent.
Had a little bit of a cool down.
Yeah, we went over to check out Tonight Alive. Jenna McDougall.
Absolutely gorgeous. And what a voice, Steve.
Oh, her voice is amazing.
I know. And everyone, again, singing along, having a great time, and they just put on such a great set, didn't they?
Absolutely. And they played The Ocean, which is one of the more recent tracks, and the crowd just went nuts. The crowd loved it. And actually, we saw a few people jumping the fence actually during their set.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
A few people just sneaking in.
There was a few people sort of sitting up on the hill in the shade, you know, hanging out
Sensible
a bit.
people, yeah.
Sensible people. And then you just look up and some blokes jumped over the fence straight into the crowd, never to be seen again.
Never to be seen, yeah.
Now that's just saved him $180 for the ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and get in and see a bit of Tonight Alive.
And then, Steve...
Yes.
I was pumped to see Dropkicks again.
Yes.
We skipped back over
to the main stage, yeah.
Fair them missed tent yet again.
Oh, well, I mean, when in Rome,
by this time it's still sweltering, Steve.
Oh yeah, even with the cloud cover, it was still bloody hot.
And Dropkicks, come on.
The boys are back.
The boys are back. And the boys were back in town, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
They opened with that song, and that just set the tone for the whole set. You know.
Oh yeah.
They're just so awesome to watch. You got 8 blokes from Boston, up on stage. You got bagpipes, you got mandolins, you got skin flutes. No, not skin.
It's a tin whistle. You got to get it right.
I knew it started with an S though.
Exactly.
But, they just punk rockers go off, don't they, Steve?
Oh, yeah.
I'm never disappointed when I see them. I've seen them a couple of times now, and they just love the crowd as well. Like they're always into the crowd. Like the singers come down, you know, get people singing on the microphone and stuff like that. I just love seeing that.
And they were raising money for charity as well. If you went to the signing tent, you could come and meet and greet, and money was going towards charity, which is fantastic.
Yep.
And they were talking about Christmas, because Christmas is just around the corner if you aren't aware.
And then they did their Christmas song.
And because when you think about it, if they're flying back to Boston for Christmas, they're playing in 40-degrry heat.
No, and then they've got to go back into probably like minus 40.
Jesus.
They're going to get sick.
Exactly.
But then you left me, Steve.
So this was towards the end of their set. I said, okay, look, I'm going to get myself a nice, decent spot for The Offspring.
Yep.
Again, I wasn't planning on going near the front. I thought I'd just stand like 10, 15 metres away from the fence, get a nice viewing point.
In my head, I'm thinking, right, Steve. Yeah, bloody right.
I didn't want to get in the mosh. We'll get to that later. Anyway, but then, so we saw them finish their set. That
felt like playing footy.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the Dropkick Murphys, and one of the highlights for my day.
Oh, totally. Me too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'd split up at this stage. And I was near the front for All Time Low. So the crowd for Bullet for My Valentine have dispersed.
Yep.
And I was standing there, and there were 2 wristbands when you went in, unless you went to Sydney, in which case there was only just the one.
Yeah, but we won't get into that.
We won't get into that. But there was over 18 got green wristbands and under 18 got pink. So I was standing there for All Time Low, and I was standing there next to this big Islander guy. He's wearing an Offspring t-shirt, I'm wearing an Offspring t-shirt, and we were just surrounded by all these girls with pink wristbands who were just losing their shit for All Time Low. So they've come out, and I didn't really know much about All Time Low, but I was just surrounded by teenage girls who were just singing passionately. It reminded me of when we were that age going to music festivals, and it's like, oh my God, I'm seeing, this band.
Oh, that pure excitement.
Exactly. I mean, the girls in front of me, you know how like on like the reality shows, they kind of like, they fan their tears.
Yeah.
And like the girl in front of me was like, every few minutes she was like fanning away the tears from her eyes. Like she was that excited. The girls were getting passionate. Anyway, there was this guy who came in, and he had a grey beard, and he kind of looked like Jimmy Smits from NYPD Blue. And he's walked in, and he's like in his 40s, maybe 50s.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get right up close for The Offspring. So he started like pushing his way through these 15-year-old kids, like pushing them out of the way. Yeah. It's like, look, seriously, mate, these kids are not going to still be here for Offspring. No. As soon as All Time Low finishes, they're going to leave. So just get out of their way. Let them have their fun during All Time Low, and then move. And he's trying to just push away through. So myself and this Islander guy, we're kind of like just barricading around these kids to stop them from getting pushed out of the way. And then anyway, the band have said, hey, all you girls out there, get up on some guy's shoulders. We want to see as many of you up on shoulders as possible. And then Jimmy Smith's just like, who wants to sit on my shoulder? Who wants to sit on my shoulder? It's like, get it, you fucking creep. Get out of here. So, and I think after a while, a few people sort of there's always like a knob. In mosh pits, there's always that one guy, at least. And
that's why I fucking hate going in them now.
But there was
people.
Yeah, and this guy was one of them, and the crowd kind of got the picture that this guy's a dick. So everyone sort of like just made sure he was pushed aside, which is good. But yeah, and so it was a lot of screaming girls. There were a lot of bras thrown up on stage.
Oh.
And look, not my kind of thing, all-time low, but they put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, I
walked
past them and thought they were, pretty rocking. One of the softer acts for the day.
Pop punk,
real poppy.
Yeah,
but
because there were a few pop punk bands that were on the smaller stages.
Yeah.
But this was obviously the biggest one of them.
Yeah.
And so they were, third on the bill. So they were obviously on the main stage. And, but the kids loved it. Good on them.
Yeah. Well done, kids.
Yeah, well done, kids.
Now, while you were there,
yes,
and as I was walking past,
yep,
I was on my way to see the Smith Street Band.
And how were the Smith Street Band, Cam?
Wow, what can I say, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, freaking awesome.
Of course, yeah.
I love the Smith Street Band, and you know what? He just rocks out, Will Wagner. I just love his eccentric voice,
mm-hmm,
and just what he sings about, what he's about.
Yep.
And the band obviously all go up. He had a few extra people. He had he had a girl up there on keys as well, mm-hmm, which I'd never seen with Smith Street Band, which was really cool. They played a couple of songs off their old EPs, like Don't Fuck With Our Dreams EP and stuff like that. So I thought they'd just play album tracks nowadays.
Yeah.
But obviously they're true to their past.
Which is good to hear.
Yeah. There's one thing I saw which was really annoying, but it showed how passionate Melbourneites are about their Smith Street Band, because I was standing there by myself because you were still over on the other side.
15-year-old girls.
Yeah. Well, it happens. I was standing there really enjoying Smith Street Band, and this couple comes up and stand right in front of me. This blonde girl with tattoos, dragging her boyfriend along with her. He's like, I don't want to be here. And
he wanted to be watching All Time Low.
Wanted to be, yeah. He's like, I don't like him. And I'm giving the polite version. And you know what he did? He stood there, just sticking his finger up at the Smith Street Band for like 10 minutes, and people were just like, you're a dickhead, and blah, blah, things like this. And it's like, he's like, I don't want to be here. And she's like, they're awesome. And all the crowd are like booing him away, and they eventually left. Jesus. I'm like, you dick. But it shows that everyone's stuck up for Smith Street Band because they're freaking awesome.
Absolutely. And he should just grow a spine and walk away from his girlfriend.
What a dick.
You don't have to be joined at the hip the whole time. If you don't like a band, and fair enough, that's one of the beautiful things about music. There's no right or wrong.
Exactly.
There's like people who like the Beatles. There are people who, believe it or not, don't like the Beatles.
I know. That's disgusting.
I mean, they're wrong.
Totally.
But that's the thing about music's not for everyone, and certain music's not for everyone, but you don't have to be a dick about it.
Exactly. You don't have to be a dick about it. And she said, come on, you've never seen them before. You don't know what they're... Give them a chance. Maybe the next song might be your next favourite song. Who knows? Like, give them a go. But yeah, they didn't disappoint, Steve, and I love the Smith Street Band, so I can't wait to see them again as well.
Exactly. Will Wagner's playing some solo shows as well.
Yeah, he skips around doing solo shows a fair bit, and I've actually been to one of them, and yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, to be completely honest with you, the songs are quite simple, the guitar's quite simple, but it's just freaking bloody effective.
Yeah.
The way he writes it and the way he sings it and performs it. So, yeah, good on him.
So if you haven't checked out the Smith Street Band, do yourself a flavour.
Oh, do it. They finished with Throw Me in the River.
Yep.
The whole place was going off.
Yeah.
Awesome song and just really passionate. He's really passionate about that. So, Steve, speaking of passionate...
Yeah, moved across to Stone Sour.
Stone Sour with old Uncle Corey Taylor.
Yeah, Corey Taylor. Now...
He looks like Uncle Corey Taylor nowadays, doesn't he?
Because I hadn't seen any recent Stone Sour stuff. Like, I've been listening to their new album, Hydrograde, I quite like it, but I hadn't seen what he looked like. I took a photo of him on the screen and sent you a message saying... is this Corey Taylor or is this Eddie Vedder? And you said, I just said the same thing to my mate.
Yeah, I was literally standing with Ben, who came with this legend.
Hello, if you're listening, Ben.
My Benny. And I said to him, he looks like Eddie Vedder.
Because he had like a suit jacket and a big long hair and a beard.
Yeah, because last time I'd seen him, which was when Stone Sour played at Soundwave, he had the shaved back and sides to the skin and the long hair slicked back.
Yeah.
So he looked completely different. Now it's all grown out, all wavy and kind of curly. And I turned to Ben and I said, I thought Stone Sour were playing because they'd just come on. And he's like, it is Stone Sour. I'm like, oh, yeah, it looks like Eddie Vedder or something. And then that's when I got my phone out and seen that you would message me exactly that.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike, Steve.
And so do ours. But they came out and they played a lot of tracks off their new album Hydrograd. It's Corey Taylor's birthday the following day.
Yeah, happy birthday,
Cause. Happy birthday, Unky Taylor. And they were loving the Australian crowd, loving having a rock festival back in Australia. He mentioned that a few times.
Yeah.
And again, the energy. He had firing cannons of paper and streamers out to the crowd, and again got the crowd rocking, and that was another one of the bands. I think that there were a number of bands that took the festival to the next level. Baby Metal won, Dropkick Murphys, and Stone Sour definitely.
Like I was saying, it was sort of like a progressive thing, wasn't it? It just kept getting better and better and stepping up.
As festivals with the lineup usually
it normally does.
But
yeah, geez, his voice is like it's that real distinctive voice.
Yeah.
/ scream that's just awesome. You just find yourself enthralled just watching him, and the whole band just go off, don't they?
Exactly. And now we come to the headliners.
Oh, highlight for me,
and myself as well. Yeah. The Offspring playing their album Smash in full.
Now, that's 1994 album Smash in full.
The highest selling independent album of all time.
Isn't that awesome?
That is amazing. And so we was obviously separated. I was towards the front. I was just one person behind the barrier, and it was a slog. It was a hard slog, that one.
It was still probably about 30 odd degrees, probably 35 degrees, and it was getting dark.
So whereabouts were you? Because we obviously split up. How far away from the stage were you?
Well, I was just at the back of where the mosh was. So if I was to say in people, probably 10, 15.
Okay.
It wasn't that far, you know. Right. And because I was to the side, I wasn't at the back. Yeah. I was to the left side of the stage. But I did go back a bit further again because there was a bloke spewing.
Oh, okay.
And wow, did he spew? He spewed. So it was about halfway through the set. This bloke started spewing up on the ground. Yeah. So I moved back a little bit further onto the
wise decision,
grassy bit. You could still see everything fine, hear everything awesome.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it from where I was, Steve. I can't believe those songs. That I finally got to see those songs live. I remember as a kid listening to it. My brother bought it on cassette tape.
Yeah.
And fast forward, 20 years later or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Almost
25.
Almost 25 years when you really think of it. Shit. 25 years and... Yeah, and I'm watching it live. It's just such an iconic album.
Yeah.
And it was funny... They come on, they played the intro first.
It's time to relax.
Yeah, that voice, I love it.
Yeah.
And then they played Nitro.
Yeah.
And, you'd probably expect, if you don't know how the album order goes, it's Bad Habit next.
Yeah.
You kind of expect that next.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? I mean, I know bands don't always play it song by song by song.
Yeah.
They started playing doom 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 at the start of Bad Habit, and the bloke behind me goes, "Oh, they're not playing this already, are they?"
So come on, mate.
What, you didn't think they were going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, come on,
Jeez.
of course,
dickhead. Anyway,
that was one of my highlights of the set was Bad Habit, and then they ended with The Kids Aren't Alright.
Yeah,
and I used to watch that religiously on the Huckett Live DVD on the extras.
Yeah.
I used to watch that all the time as a teenager, and I don't think I've seen it live from them in the times that I've seen them.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. And, I loved it.
Well, I've seen them live about 4 or 5 times. So I'd seen, obviously they play Come Out and Play. They played Self-Esteem. I've seen them do those tracks. So it was cool for me to see tracks like Kill Boy Powerhead and Genocide and Smash and stuff that they don't play regularly at concerts. And then they played a few additional songs at the end as well. And it's one of the things with The Offspring, and I know you shouldn't be picking on it, but they never really feel that sincere when they're sort of saying, "Hey, Melbourne, hey."
It's like they've been doing it for almost 30 years.
Exactly. You'd think that every time they come here, they'd be thrilled, but it was the kind of the witty banter between Dexter and Noodles was sort of lacking. But it's
really? Really? We're gonna play this song now?
You mean we're going to play Smash in full? It's like, mate, even the guy who doesn't want to be here for it knows that they're going to be doing it.
That's right. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. Well, apparently we're playing Smash in full. Really? We're doing that? You've just announced that fucking 4 months ago. But anyway,
exactly.
Not bitter.
But no. But and again, they were great. A good light show, and just I don't know. It just took me back to my teenage years. My body didn't feel that way, but definitely felt like.
I've always said it, Steve. Music's like time travel. It can take you back to a time,
Oh, absolutely.
That's great. I love it. And do you know what? I don't think they could have kicked off the first ever Good Things Festival in Australia with a better lineup.
Yeah.
Don't you reckon?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a good mix of metal, you had punk, you had hardcore. It was just a good spread, and everyone fucking loved it. Everyone who was there was having a good time, except for that guy who didn't want to be at the Smith Street Band, but fuck him.
Yeah, there's always the one.
Exactly. But to have Smash played in full, there were so many people that ticks a box. That's a bucket list.
I know.
For me,
I did.
Definitely.
Because Dashboard were playing on the other stage the same time as Offspring.
One of your favourites.
One of my favourites. And I did contemplate skipping over to have a look at him just for a couple of songs or something. But I literally thought, I can't do that. This is Smash in full. I've got to stay for this. Maybe when they finish Smash, I'll go. And then they started playing, all their hits. I'm like, I'm staying. I'm staying. I'm sure I'll get to see. I've seen Dashboard before. But it wasn't disappointed. Like they just know how to write a good song, don't they? I know they've written some corny ones as well, but even them live is awesome.
And I've got to say, and this was the biggest surprise on 2 fronts for me, the biggest surprise, they decided to cover an AC/DC song.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. Let's play it safe and do Back in Black. That's like whenever an international band goes, hey, we're going to do an AC/DC song, it's usually Back in Black because it's one of the easy ones to do.
It's easy.
They did Whole Lot of Rosie.
Yeah,
which is quite a longer song, and it's a Bon Scott song, right?
Yeah.
So Bon Scott era, and Dexter's voice nailed it.
Yeah, he did it well, didn't he?
It was because I was thinking, this could be a bit 50-50. I don't know, because his voice is. I'm not saying he's got a bad voice, but it doesn't suit everything.
He's got a freaking awesome voice, but it's he's got that certain style. Got bloody hard to sing that voice.
And that's the thing, like Axl Rose with Guns N' Roses, and when he came across to join AC/DC, he couldn't do the Brian Johnson era songs as well as he could the Bon Scott stuff.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
It does.
But Dexter, he absolutely nailed it, and I was surprised, but in a good way.
Oh yeah,
definitely. It was amazing.
I got to say, Dexter and Noodles, they've still got it. They've still got the skills. They've still got the stamina. They still just do it awesely.
Could probably improve on the witty banter.
But, you kind of expect that nowadays, especially with the band at that time in their career as well. Like they've been there, done that, bought the T-shirt.
Yeah.
But the bass player, Steve, was a session musician of some... I don't know. I've never seen him before.
Yeah.
But
Greg Kay was not there.
I took a photo on Snapchat of Offspring and sent it off, and my mate replied to it, and I looked at the photo properly, and he goes, is Flea playing with Offspring at Good Things? I'm like, and I didn't look at it till later because obviously I was, busy. Yeah. And I looked at the photo, I'm like, yeah, it does look like Flea a little bit. And he goes, I've been Googling it all night trying to work it out, and it says nowhere in here.
Yeah.
But if you look at my photo, it looks like it's Flea, and he sort of has that stance.
Mm-hmm.
and it was different lighting. I think he has darker skin than.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I don't know, maybe it's because I was a lot closer, but I'm pretty sure he's black, so I don't know why how you got Flea. So that was the inaugural Good Things Festival 2018. Cam,
loved it.
Overall thoughts, loved it.
Well, we've been very lucky this year having the first ever download in March.
Yep.
And now the Good Things. So it's been a great year of firsts for us. And I couldn't be happier, Steve. I hope they're going to bring it back next year.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what kind of lineup they follow it up with as well.
Yeah.
Will we get another 90s band playing an album in full?
Ooh. Have they set the precedent for that to be the thing?
Be a hell of a theme.
It is a big thing nowadays, bands playing older albums in full or whatever. I know, Steve.
What, Cam?
And we're wrong about it with Download.
Yeah.
System of a Down Toxicity.
Oh, Jesus.
That'd be coming up to, what, 15 years, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 01, I think that was. So that would be 18 years.
The 18th year anniversary of Toxicity.
That would be awesome.
Maybe in a couple of years they'll do their 20th.
Yeah, who knows?
Anyway, but that'd be awesome. But yeah, we'll see.
Again, thank you to Good Things Festival for having us, for giving us a couple of tickets so we could do this review.
We honestly really appreciate it. We got to see some awesome bands that we now love.
Yeah, we got to see Baby Metal. We got to appreciate that. We got to see Smash in full. I mean, that's honestly. I mean, what was your highlight aside from Smash aside? What was your highlight for the day?
Kids Aren't Alright. The last song. Maybe it was a relief because of the heat. I don't know. No, I just love that song, Steve. And like I said, I used to watch that on repeat.
Yep.
And I'm just there bouncing up and down like a schoolgirl when they're playing it. You know, it was just awesome.
Yep. I'd have to say for me, Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that was a band that I knew a few of their songs. I had never seen them live. And to experience them live, for me, that was definitely the highlight. And they had a really good following. There was, I reckon, I reckon they probably had the next biggest following in the crowd than Offspring. It was a shitload of Dropkick Murphys T-shirts around.
Oh, yeah. Kiss Me, I'm Shitface T-shirts everywhere. That type of punk music has massive followings, and you can tell you saw the crowd.
Oh yeah,
so it was great. But I think that's going to be the end of our thing.
Yeah, well, this is our first review, so I guess we're just making it up as we go along now. But thank you for listening. As mentioned, we'll be back in 2019 with season 2 of Garage Rock, and we might have a couple of cheeky little specials in the meantime as well.
A few little specials, a few little surprises. You know what we're like. We like to skip around.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you for listening, and once again, I've been Steve,
and I've been Cam.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.